G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for watching the Wildkard Rugby Show. Like, comment, and subscribe. And yes, you are here today because you have undoubtedly heard the greatest news in the history of the entire human race, and that is currently sending shockwaves all around the world, probably across space-time, and blowing up black holes along its way. And that is the most famous wizard in the history of the world, Harry Potter, has quit his job at the Ministry of Magic and decided to pursue the Muggle game of rugby for the Wallabies. Okay, this came as a bigger curveball than Shang Wong bowling out Gatting in the 1993 Ashes first test of Ashes series, right? This was absolutely one of the most biggest move in the history of rugby, and seriously, well done, Rugby Australia. We are finally going to be able to tap in to a wizarding market that was previously untouched, right? And proving once and for all that rugby is a better sport than Quidditch. Okay, so very happy with this decision by Rugby Australia to sign Mr. Harry Potter and bringing him in to the Wallabies. And boy, think about all the wizards and witches will now be supporting the Wallabies as a result of this. My goodness, brilliant move for Rugby Australia in terms of marketing. Yeah, hopefully they spend more than $8 billion for this guy, because it is quite a smart business move from Rugby Australia. Now, with that monumental news out of the way, the news out of Scotland camp, not quite as big, but Matt Fagerson will be getting his 50 cap this weekend. Congratulations. He's been a pretty solid performer for the Scotland team in the back row as a back rower, number 8 most times, and yeah, it's gonna be a big game for him this weekend as well to really physically match up with the rising contenders, or as the Wallabies coming for the scalp of another northerner team this weekend. So the two teams has played a few times, mostly in the November Test series, and yeah, it's been pretty close most of the games, and Scotland has edged ahead a number of times over the Wallabies. And yeah, the most recent one was 15-16 to the Wallabies, to a bit of a surprise upset. I thought the Wallabies probably was the underdogs by a big shot going into this game. Kind of went down to a bit of a stalemate, and I think the Wallabies was able to get a bit lucky there in 2022 to get away with the win. It's 15 points over 16, and I think that the Scotland team that's going to be playing this weekend is going to be much better than the team that played in 2022. They have taken leaps and bounds ahead with some of the new recruits, including some of the Australians that's been added into their team. And yeah, it's a much improved Scotland team. And I think the Wallabies, despite their massive improvement in recent times, I'm not sure if they're quite at the level of the Scotland team. I think Scotland is probably like top 4, top 5 level of performance, much better than England in its current form. And with that being said, the weather this weekend as well, it's going to be a bit of a factor as well. It's going to be extremely cold in Scotland. This will be played in Sunday evening, so a bit warmer on Sunday, but there has been snow and rain leading into it. It doesn't get nearly this cold in Australia. It definitely doesn't get to, especially major cities. There are some snowy parts in the mountains, but generally, the majority of the population are not used to this kind of cold in Australia, so I don't know how this is going to affect the performance of the Wallabies. I think this will favour the Scottish a little bit, should the weather be extremely cold and frosty. The referee this weekend is going to be Chris Busby from Ireland. He is a decent referee. I haven't seen that much of him. I maybe watched him like 1, maybe 2 games in the URC, but it's not too bad. It's all the URC referees are decent and clinical, and we'll have to see if he's going to be a factor this weekend. I do think that the fact that he is a Northerner referee, and he is a URC referee, and I think he does have a little bit of edge for Scotland, because they do also compete in the URC. And yes, with that being said, let's have a look at the lineup, the players that's going to be competing this weekend. So coming in first in the front rowers, we've got Pierre Schoeman, Ewan Ashman coming in at hooker, and Xander Fagerson coming in at 3. These guys has been absolutely dominant in recent times, like much better than they were before, especially Schoeman has really improved on his technique, even against, the Springboks. He has been found quite stable on his side. I do think that Xander Ferguson is slightly weaker on the scrummaging side. But yeah, there was some article came out this week saying that the Wallabies gonna struggle against Xander Ferguson. It's because Angus Bell was struggling against the Welsh. I don't think so. I think that Angus Bell probably just had a bad day against the Welsh. It wasn't that bad of a disappointment against the Welsh. And I just think that Xander Ferguson will not have too much of an issue over Angus Bell. Mass Vazela comes in number 2, and number 3, Alan Alatoa. However, I do think that Pierre Schoeman is going to have a bit of a say over Allen this weekend, because Schoeman is, very, very solid on the body height, very, very good in the body shape, and I don't know. I just don't know, and I think that Allen might going a little bit too high against Schoeman, the way that he likes to set up, and we'll have to see. So watch out for the tight hair side on the Wallabies and loose hair side for the Scotland, and I think that'll be the difference in the scrum this weekend. In locks position now, we've got Grant Gilchrist coming in number 4, and Scott Cummings coming in number 5 for Scotland. For the Wallabies, Jeremy Williams, another outstanding performance last week, comes in number 4, and then he wasn't playing last week. I think it was Wing Frost, but against England, Jeremy Williams had an absolute outstanding game. And Will Skelton returns the number 5 jersey, returning last week to a pretty physical performance against the Welsh. Coming in the loose forwards now, I think this is probably where Scotland might have a bit of an edge over the Wallabies. The breakdown, the physicality, these guys that are going to be bringing is something that the Scottish team has improved drastically over the last couple of years, and has yielded them quite a bit of success, quite competitive even against the best teams like Ireland and France. And it's just one of those things that, I think that one of those things that I think Wallabies might be lacking behind a little bit in this regard, especially at the breakdowns. Jamie Ritchie coming number 6, Roy Darge number 7, and then Matt Ferguson getting the 50 cap. Always physical, always big, coming in number 8. Wallabies as well has a massive, does have a lot of physicality here as well at the setup, but without Fraser McWright, I just think that the breakdown might be lacking a little bit. Rob Valentini coming number 6, great ball carrier. Carlos Tazzano also had a pretty stellar season this year for the Western Force, coming in number 7, and Harry Wilson was outstanding against England, coming in number 8. And just the breakdown, I think that the edge goes to Scotland over this one. So let me know your thoughts on that. That might be a little bit of a I think my people might not agree with that assessment. But anyway, coming in the back line now, we've got Ben White coming in number 9, Finn Russell number 10, the two, the true veteran combinations now for the Scotland team. For the Wallabies, Jake Gordon has been caught in as a veteran at number 9, and Noah Losio number 10. This is, I think that Finn Russell is going to be the key difference maker in this entire game. His kicking game, his vision, his ability to take on the game line and create space for players around him is absolutely outstanding. He might be the guy that's going to be the fly half for the Lions tour that's coming up, and ahead of Marcus Smith. That's just how good he is. So I do think that Noah Losio has improved a lot on his defense, improved a lot on his kicking game. He's looking more and more comfortable, but Finn Russell is really if he gets in the zone, he just let it loose and things just start rolling his way, and the game can get out of hand very quickly. For Scotland's favour. In terms of kicking goals, I think both players have similar accuracy, and maybe Noah Losio have a slightly higher accuracy than Finn Russell, but overall it's quite even between the two players, I think, in that regards. In the backline now, we've got Duhan van der Merwe, the biggest winger in I think in the Northern Hemisphere right now, and big, fast, and power. You can't teach speed, you can't teach size, and he's got both of them in plenty. Harry Potter, the wizard, will be at number 11 for the Wallabies. He had a decent start to his season in the Western Force, and then he got injured, so didn't really play too much rugby in club. So he must impress the coaches quite a bit off the field. Maybe trying to get the visiting. Maybe it's a business decision, try to get the visiting world to support the Wallabies. But I don't think that he hasn't played that much rugby to really, I think, get the nod here ahead of maybe maybe the Junkyard dog. So I'm not too sure about the selection here. I know that Dylan Peach is injured, but yeah. Anyway, it is a decision by Joe Schmidt, and last time I doubted his decision, and we beat England. So I will not doubt him again. I've learned my lesson. So moving up, number 12. This is a former Rebels player for here in Australia, as a Australian-born Sione Tuipulotu. His grandma is Scottish. I'm pretty sure he's captain as well this weekend. He's been absolutely outstanding for Scotland. Great carry, great post-contact offloads, and the ability to break over the gang line is absolutely tremendous for him. At number 12, Lenny Ikitiao moved to 12 jersey, making way for Joseph Swali'i, the most expensive player in the history of rugby, to come in at number 13. There's a lot of positivity about his abilities under the high ball, and I think that he's definitely showing some of that Israel Folau-like talents with the flying abilities, and I think that the Wallabies will try to maybe utilize him a little bit under the high ball against the Scottish side. And the one thing that I did have a concern with is his tackling technique. The couple times, I think last week, he literally put a shoulder in without wrap on a Welsh player and looked like he had clipped him on I think it was clipped him on the Welsh player's head. And I thought he got pretty lucky to get cited for that or to get yellow carded for that last week. So hopefully the coaches have drilled him down a bit on that. That's probably my only concern, that he might get sent off because of his it's just habit. It's just habit from playing rugby league. It's not like he's a bad player, not like he's a dangerous player. It's just habit. That's just how they do it in rugby league. So he's gonna have to adjust to that. Otherwise, he might have a tough time. Hugh Jones comes in number 13 for Scotland, one of the great ball runners for Scotland. So there was a while ago some defensive issues out of him, but I think that he's improved from that as well in recent times defensively. Coming number 14, the big return is Darcy Graham. There's a lot of talk about how good Duhan van der Merwe is. Darcy Graham is actually a better winger, in my opinion, than Duhan van der Merwe. Darcy Graham hunts for the opportunities, whereas Van der Merwe kind of like waits for his opportunities, and that's the difference. Darcy Graham works like a hungry dog out there on the field, and he's outstanding. He's absolutely incredible player, Darcy Graham. Andrew Callaway comes in number 14, someone that I thought was, again, extremely good against England, and it's the running game has always been his strength. And I think that Joe Schmidt has done a great job improving his tackling in recent times. His tackling was a bit of a question mark, even in the July Test series against Welsh, and is showing that he's improved significantly since then under the tutelage of Joe Schmidt. And finally, coming number 15, Blair Kinghorn, probably the best fullback, I would say, in the Six Nations right now. Maybe Ramos is better than him, but Ramos moved to 10, I guess. But yeah, Blair Kinghorn has been outstanding. Plays for State State de France, Toulouse. So he's actually really had a lot of high level competition under his belt, and outstanding performer in France. And I think he might have an edge here in the fullback position over the Wallabies. Tom Wright, extremely, again, we knew he had the talent coming out of Super Rugby, really starting to find that form again. Extremely good counter-attacking, finding space. Good under the high ball. I think his kicking game might be lacking a little bit, and Blair Kinghorn has the edge over Tom Wright in that regard. So the kicking game will probably be the difference here in the number 15 shirts. Coming in the reserves now, we've got number 16, Dylan Richardson for Scotland, Roy Sutherland for number 17, and Will Hurd for number 18 in Scotland. For the Wallabies, Brandon Pangam also coming number 16. Isaac Kalea gets called back at number 17 ahead of James Slipper, and this is something that I'm really happy to see. I wanted to see Isaac Kalea get more development. He is the future. I mean, James Slipper is, really getting to the end of his career there. Zan Nongor also gets a nod here at number 18. The big boy, the big Queenslander, had a decent run off the bench last week against the Welsh. Coming number 19, Alex Craig for Scotland. Number 20, George Bayliss. The Wallabies, Lukam Salakaia-Loto, the finisher, coming off the bench, has been really physical for the Wallabies. Coming in at number 19, Langi Gleeson as well, another finishing big boy coming off the bench at number 20. Scotland has not opted for the 6-2 this setup this weekend, going for the traditional 5-3 with George Horn. Comes in at number 21. Tate McDermott, number 21 for the Wallabies. Number 22, Tom Jordan for Scotland. Ben Donaldson gets the number 22 jersey for the Wallabies. And finally, Kyle Rowe for Scotland. And Max Jorgensen winning the game for the Wallabies against England gets on the bench at number 23. So, this is the thing. I'm surprised that Harry Porter is at number 11 instead of Max Jorgensen. Could be a better start, a stronger start. But there seems to be an emphasis from Joe Schmidt to load out the bench and have a impactful finishing, more impact coming off the bench as finishers. So, yeah. Let me know your thoughts, guys. I think that Scotland might edge this one. I really wish, the Grand Slam is looking good. But, you know what? I think the Wallabies will win this one because, I think Joe Schmidt has something going on here that I think the Wallabies can kick in another level. And if they do, they will be able to upset the Scottish this weekend. Especially if the Scotland team is feeling a bit confident being the favourites, because I think the Scottish team plays better as the underdogs. So the fact that they are the favourites, I think they might not be they might not be a position that they're comfortable in performing to the highest levels. So I think with that reasoning, I think the Wallabies will win this one 21 points to 18. Yeah, let me know your thoughts, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later for the review. Cheers.